On the table here, we have a pile of the new Studio Underdog Field watches. The next watch on the table is the Tudor Pelagos, and there's something else in the box here, which we're going to get to. Oh dear, this is not good. This is not a good day to be outside. So lucky we're inside. Welcome to In the Metal. I'm Marcus from Time+Tide, and I shoot pretty much all of the watches that you see on the channel. This is my magical lair where everything happens. So let's get into it. What is In the Metal? Well, In the Metal is going to be a new little segment that we're going to be doing regularly on Time+Tide, which is my show. That's right, my show. There's many people in the team of Time+Tide which are certified watch nerds, and they could go and tell you all of the ins and outs of what's going on in a watch, how it works, why it's good, finishings, the polishings and the materials and things like that. Now, whilst I do know a little bit about that kind of stuff, it's not really something which I geek and nerd out on. But I love watches, and I've learned a lot about watches just by shooting them for 10 years. So the idea of this is it's going to be a little bit more of a behind the scenes and on the cusp of when the watch arrives here at my studio. I get many watches sent to me from all over the world, and I have to look at this watch, assess it, and decide how am I going to dress my set? How am I going to create something and put a world around this watch? So this is a really cool way for you to see some of these pieces a little bit before we drop the main review, where you do get all of those kind of nerdy ins and outs of how the watch works, which is really fascinating to many, many of you out there, which is really, really good. It's just not really my wheelhouse. This is my wheelhouse. Okay, so here is this fabulous top-down display, which you probably recognize these hands from many Time+Tide watch videos. And so this is my normal kind of getup. This is my normal setup, okay? On the table here, we have a pile of the brand new Studio Underdog Field watches. Now, field watches don't really interest me too much, but I have picked one of these, which I think I'm going to add to the collection. The next watch on the table is the Tudor Pelagos 39. And there's something else in the box here, which we're going to get to. So first of all, let's talk about these field watches. This watch is really, really interesting for a few different reasons. Mainly, its big party trick, which is its loom. So the loom is crazy, crazy nuts, like under this light, which, you know, is too bright, this light. I'll cut to some B-roll so you can kind of see this. But anyway, these watches, their claim to fame is their crazy, crazy loom, apart from one of them. Okay, so one of them is, it does have loom, but it's not the full dial loom. And I was talking to Richard Bank, who is he is the designer and owner of Studio Underdog, really, really great guy from England. And he was telling me about the way that this watch is constructed. What's really cool about this is the way he's got a layer of sapphire, which goes on top of this loom dial. Now, what happens is then we've got another domed sapphire on top. Now, from a photography perspective, and the way this is kind of cool and the way it plays, is the bend and the curve of this top sapphire reflects on the sapphire underneath, and it starts to make this thing warp and move a little bit like an enamel dial, which is really cool and interesting. But what's super cool is that you get shadow play from the painted numerals, which are on this sapphire disc. And depending on which angle the light comes through, it casts a shadow on the loom dial underneath on these sort of three-dimensional angles, which is just really super cool. So my pick is actually this one. So this is a really the most sort of simplified version, and it's got like a charcoal sort of black dial. And I'm just riffing here, so I'm not reading any spec sheets or anything like that. But like I say, I don't know shit, but I know what I like, and I like this. So when I put this one on the wrist, I especially love it with this extra little trinket on my wrist here. That to me is just rock and roll. Now, this watch, I think, is 30, I want to say 37 mil. Now, 37 mil, I would read that normally on a spec sheet and I'd go, yeah, thanks, bye. But in this sense, I don't know why, I think it's this interest in this dial and the way this light play and how it sort of reflects and works. But with this little trinket on my wrist, this just is great. And I love the color of this olive strap. Now, Rich has done a much better job, I think, on this version of his watches. I do actually own a Desert Sky, which is really cool, but I just kind of pretty much threw away the strap as soon as I got it. It's just too tapered for me, and it's too thin, it's too refined. It's just not really me. That's not how I work. But, you know, lucky for these watches, you can strap hack the hell out of them, which is great. So that's really one to sort of look out for. Like, I mean, look at this. You can kind of see the little light play there. It's just really nice. And these two little screws which hold down the sapphire layer there, there's just a lot going on for a field watch, and this kind of cool jellyfish on the end, which is great. So the next watch that I want to talk you through is my Pelagos 39. Now, many of you might have seen the episode of About Effing Time where I told my story about my recovery from drinking, from too much alcohol. And if you haven't seen this episode, do go check it out because it's been super, super helpful for many people. And they have, the comments have just been crazy and off the dial. And many people are sort of, it's triggered a lot of thoughts in people and about their lives and things like that. So at the end of this episode, to probably, yeah, spoiler alert, but this watch was presented to me by the guys at About Effing Time, and it took me by surprise and blew my nuts off. It was really good. But I had my eye on this particular piece when when Tudor came out with it. We were there within on the same day that this watch got released. We went to the Tudor factory and we shot a little video. And I remember falling in love with it, just thinking, this is incredible. It's insane. It's just fantastic. I'm not a Rolex guy. I don't think I'll ever wear a Rolex. Just something about the brand just doesn't work with me. It's not my jam, not my vibe. Whereas Tudor, it just feels like more the everyday man's watch. And that's kind of how I feel as a person. So this light play on this one is spectacular, and it's because of the titanium. And I have been falling in love more and more with titanium over the years because it has this dull luster. And this dull luster under camera lights and things like that, it just doesn't ping too hard. And I love that in how a watch renders when I shoot it. So this Pelagos, I just love all of that about it. And the sunray dial, which you can see there, just smacking away, which is really, really cool. And the bezel action is just sensationally tactile and beautiful. And these little, the crown guard here, I don't have any watches with a crown guard, and this is the first time. And for some reason, I don't know, maybe this is where I'm getting a little bit watch nerdery, but I just like look at that point and something about it is just, wow, that's really cool. I really, really dig it. Plus the watch is super light. Check it out. If you have not checked it out, look at this. I'm going to put it on the wrist here. And again, I love it with the trinket. Here we go. Done. Wow. That is just cool. So, like I said, we're going to have full reviews of these watches coming up on the Time+Tide channel. So, you know, do subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. So, you know what? Many of you have not actually subscribed. Most of our viewers have not subscribed. And do you know that that's the easiest way that you can support us on the channel? Moving forward, we just need an army of people and community behind us, and we can do so many creative things. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. It means a lot to us. So, ooh, what could this be? What could it be? I don't know what it is, but let's see. Now, I do know what it is. I actually do. So, here we go. Let's reveal. Okay. Cursory piece of paper. Some of this. Some of that. Some of this. And, oh, Glashütte original. Okay, or original. You got to get that right. Original. Glashütte original. Okay, I've actually got to probably just research the names of these watches because I don't know. So let's go 50-50. Is this the sporty one or is this the dressy one? Sporty, dressy, sporty, dressy. Let's go. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna pick sporty. Let's go sporty. And boom, and boom. And I'm wrong. I am wrong. It's not the sporty one. This is far from sporty. Holy smokes. Okay, this is one hell of a watch. Holy smokes. It is white gold, everybody. White gold. Now, you know what? Sometimes I go, why don't you just do it in stainless steel? Sometimes I can't even really tell the difference between stainless steel and white gold, but you can feel it. It's got a very different weight proposition because it's gold. It is really pretty special. So, and it has some mesmerizing kind of like swirl type patterns here. So as we spin this, these little swirling dials, there's a lot going on in the back, but it is actually quite a substantially thick watch, which is really weird because it's not an automatic watch. This is a hand wound watch. It also has something which I thought was really interesting. I've never seen this before in a watch. So it's spinning, 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 and then I'm going to pull this out. And when I pull it out, boom, the seconds goes to 0. All right, cool. It's no big deal. But when I start changing the time, it changes it in 1 minute increments. It's like click, 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 click. So this is extremely accurate. So I guess what you could do is then you could take your iPhone or whatever, and an atomic clock, let's say, 3, 2, 1, and click. And then boom, our seconds starts to sweep again. And look, it's pretty good. And I'm looking forward to shooting this one. And yeah, wait for the review. But yeah, I'm actually curious to know how this watch works and why the nerdery behind it. But then, you know, that's what I learn when I read the voiceover. Here we go. This, another Glashütte. All right. Check this out. Oh yeah, come on. Woo! Look at this. Direct from the 60s. I think actually that's what this watch is called. It's something like, I don't know, the Glashütte original 60s chronograph. It says it on the back. My word, look at that. Thank you, Glashütte, for that cheat sheet. Now this is significantly cheaper, this watch, than the Senator. But I tell you what, this is probably the watch. If I was going to pick one of the two, this is the one I'd get. This is kind of maybe a little bit too classy for me, but I don't know. Maybe with time, once life's beat the hell out of me and I, you know, relax a little. But yeah, just check that out. Come on, that's fire. The dial, however they're doing this stippled kind of effect on the dial, it's just crazy and nuts. And I think that all of the hands and the indices on this are so fine, and it's this really, I don't know, coppery gold or something. Again, I'm never going to try and pretend to do my research here because I don't have enough time in my life to research all of this stuff. So, but what I do know is it looks great, and this strap, it's some kind of a, I don't know what it's made of. It's really quite stiff and hard. I can see that it would soften up over time, but there's something casual about this strap which gives permission to this to be a little bit more classy and slick. So yeah, maybe it just, I don't know, it's just found that sporty vibe. I get a little bit lost in these things. Beautiful piece of technology on your wrist, which is grounded in ancient times. Glashütte Original is a really interesting brand to me. It's you know, it's in Germany, so it's not Swiss. But they do things. Their refinement is so good and so beautiful. I always really look forward to seeing a Glashütte. I shot the CQs a while back, and actually I remember finishing that video and I sent it to Andrew and I said, Andrew, you've got to watch this. I think this is my best work. And I got so lost in these watches and the creative execution of what I did that it's like, dude, if I was a richer man, holy smokes. Yeah, I like. So anyway, this is one of many In the Metal episodes to come. And over the course of In the Metal, I'm going to be talking about all kinds of things, even photography tips, and even about my creative journey of taking a watch and applying a universe to it. So if you have liked this video and you've not subscribed, then think about doing so, because it's going to encourage me to do more of these. Because if you don't subscribe and no one watches it, then we're not doing any more. So there you go. So you get to choose. You get to be the judge, all right? So, love watches, huh? Do you love watches? I love watches. Let's love watches together. Like and subscribe.